Chapter 19. Empathy. Trinity, what can I do to help you? Hawken asked. I need you to find the Topaz Mana Tower. That way I can draw energy from it to recharge my mana nodes. Hawken walked to the back of the room and punched the wall, barely making an indent. It's behind this wall, Princess Trinity. It only has a small amount of smelly mana. It's been drained and converted into that psionic energy, just like my body converts all other mana into divine mana. Be by my side just in case I faint or need CPR. Now to focus as my younger self once did, feeling everyone's pain. Empaths grow by sharing others' pain and feeling all emotions. Trinity closed her eyes, looking at past events learned through her telepathy. I remember seeing Troy arguing with his wife, Alyssa, and with Nigel inside their dining room and kitchen. Troy, how many times have I told you to clean up while you're cooking? You argue about this, yet you don't tell Nigel what you told me about how fearful you really are, Troy said. He added, mocking her, oh, Troy, what if the police come and take David away without an escape plan? He stuck out his tongue and banged his wrists together foolishly. Alyssa argued, raising her voice, how dare you bring that up? Peter Richardson said you cannot judge him. Troy thumped the wall, yelling at Alyssa. Dr. Tracy Genelan has been our family therapist for years, not Richardson. Troy directed his attention toward Nigel. Nigel, you are currently on trial, with the police ready to give you 10 years for possession of this crap. Anyone can buy it in a public shop. We won't talk to you until you calm down, Nigel said. My point is perception, dickhead. The police have charged you for this, and they will perceive it worse. As a father, I should not have to explain how cartoon pictures of sexualized preteens in my house are a very bad thing. You are putting our son at risk of being taken away by Child Protective Services, Troy yelled, thumping the wall 2 more times. You're pathetic. It's not hentai. Troy pointed his finger toward the front door. Get the hell out. Get the hell out. Did Nigel not realize that David could have been taken away and placed into permanent foster care? What about Dr. Genelan being his therapist? Too many parents never see their children after cases like this. No wonder Jane and Edward are protecting so many children who have been the victims of Nigel's antics. He will be sent back to Rubervale Prison, nowhere near children. Next, Trinity focused on Leviticus's childhood. She began feeling his preteen years. Leviticus was stimming, tapping his fingers against his head while looking at the tennis courts. He was having trouble with sensory challenges and the continual adult gossip. He tapped his head harder. The other parents formed a group to talk about him. Leviticus does not belong here. He can't follow directions. I'm glad he is not paired with my Jefferson. Leviticus's mother pointed her finger at the other parents. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Tennis is supposed to be a family-friendly game. Leviticus became more overwhelmed, stimming harder. Vedic sat next to him. Wow, tennis. Did you know the other parents here expect the children to live their helpless dreams? Leviticus stimmed a little slower. I'll tell their crazy asses that it does not work to live someone else's life. Each person must be themselves. Do you hear what I am saying? Leviticus settled down and smiled, answering, yes, Hello, I am Leviticus's mother. Vedic shook her hand. You work at the Golden Sun Country Club. Girl, are you looking for a better paying job? Their conversation was rudely interrupted. Excuse me, as manager, I must inform you that you are not allowed to sit here. I personally set up a colored section over in the West Courts. Vedic smiled. I ask about a job because the manager just got her skinny white ass fired. Nodding, Leviticus's mother replied, yes, I mean, thank you, Miss Jones. Leviticus has overcome so many challenges throughout his life. Queen Vedic Jones is doing a fantastic job keeping the Sarina gem fields a safe place to live on Albac, Trinity thought. I now see Jane Turner and Marcus Johnson in multiple flashes of past events. I find it problematic to visualize Jane Turner's thoughts, seeing she gets distracted easily. Marcus excitedly explained, Jane Turner, you totally get to see my manuscript. I call this martial art Weapons Master, until another name comes to mind. I must say, Hope is enjoying training with his toy weapons. In the second flashback, Marcus was doing groundwork training in a dojo with Hope during his toddler years. Hope was lying on his back while Marcus was on his knees, demonstrating to an audience. We need to teach children self-defense, self-discipline, self-control, and self-respect. Children are the future. By this demonstration, and with a positive outlook, Hope has a chance to defend himself against a deadly predator and get out of harm's way. Kicking upward, catching Marcus off guard, Hope's heel forced pressure, snapping the top right premolar in half. Ouch! Marcus uncontrollably drooled from the horrendous hard tissue pain caused by the toddler. Covering his mouth, he rolled to the side, trying not to bleed all over the dojo mats. Hope received a standing ovation. In the third flashback, Jane stood over Marcus, reading what he had written in his clipboard folder. Hey, Marcus, who is Elizabeth? Your attempt at a love story feels real. Who is Elizabeth? What does her character do? What is the deal with Marcus for Elizabeth, written inside a love heart? In the fourth vision, Desmond was bowing while handing Hope his black belt. Hope, you have now earned your third Dan black belt in kickboxing and karate. 40 students of various races, all representing the Emerald Dragons dojo, clapped, formally congratulating Hope on his success. I am from Earth, and you have all accepted me to join in this wonderful harmonious community. This black belt is to be earned, not given or bought. When I am reunited with both of my separated parents, I know they will put their hatred aside and forgive whatever happened 12 years ago. Thank you again, Jane-sensei. Trinity thought, Jane knows Marcus and Hope better than I'd realized. Perhaps I should be reading her mind more often. I would if it didn't give me a splitting headache. Before Dark Sparrow's bail application, I noticed that Maxwell placed a hearing aid into his left ear. After that I could not read Maxwell's thoughts, but he certainly knows Marcus too. For what reason is Marcus the key to all of this? In the vision, Maxwell sat across from Marcus, typing on 3 different computers in a small office. Maxwell, I have been working very hard on my first novel. I have many more ideas for writing many more stories. My second book will be about apprentices. Marcus, I need you to get your head out of the clouds. Your ex-wife has changed statements, and others have added more repulsive statements. You need to let me help you, or else you are going to prison. Marcus lowered his head submissively. Sorry. I am very thankful for your generosity. I used to judge lawyers as cruel. I was blind, but now I see that you are a human rights lawyer. And Jane has a wonderful father in you. Marcus, question now, clouds later, Maxwell demanded. Marcus's thought process is scattered in a similar way to Jane's. Is Marcus really the mastermind plotting from solitary confinement inside Gwenvale Asylum, or is it Saldek? In the vision, 2 women from Child Protective Services sat in Maxwell's office. Thank you for giving us the chance to help on our end of the investigation. Mr. Turner, our service is more than willing to work with you, giving others the chance to plead their case. Facing Marcus, the CPS worker said, I know your life is being turned upside down, but as your bail terms stipulate, you're living out in Gwenvale, 8 miles away from your ex-wife. Exchanging handshakes with Maxwell, the second woman stated, Mr. Turner, nasty games have been played against Marcus. Please subpoena our records and statements to support the case in family court. The 6 other people who have clearly slandered Marcus have made a variety of outrageous statements. We agree that Marcus is no threat to Hope and that he should have 50-50 custody, being as he is the father and is able to provide nicely for Hope. All I can visualize after that is Maxwell and Marcus laughing. I see good friends working together. But why share your personal life with your attorney? Do I need to study law more to be a better princess serving Amethyst University? Dark Sparrow is right, we need to talk about difficult subjects to improve our relationships. Is this also a form of true love, the type that Barrister Arlo Sergio was talking about? So, did he place me in a religious cult, or did he only share limited information with me, giving me a new advantage in battle? Why did I not ask more questions about the first church of legendary beasts? In the vision, Maxwell grimaced. Marcus, what else was stated on their list? Marcus burst out laughing. I got lost in the 30-odd statements once she mentioned cosplay tea parties. Marcus wiped his eyes and blew his nose, laughing uncontrollably. Maxwell typed on his computer, commenting expressionlessly, "You, sick bastard. You realize you have a creepy tea party laugh. Are you putting that into your novel?" Trinity had another vision of an event that happened about 2 years later. Maxwell smiled. Live happily, even through this back and forth process as I negotiate with her lawyer. And not to worry, this one is a very nice lady with many years' experience for the resolution that you seek. Legally, you should have access to your child. I am very sickened that now the defamers accuse me of masturbating inside cars and that more third parties are conspiring against me with those I have never met. That is where I negotiate to simplify things on our side. Sure, we must constantly prepare a defense to keep you out of prison. We just go through each point and oppose to simplify things for the judge. Unfortunately, the court only looks at what you did wrong in this one charge of bodily harm and not at all the other bullshit, such as changing statements and adding too many third parties. Maxwell continued typing confidently. Even if Marcus was guilty of so many offenses, it seems he chose to turn his life around. That should at least stand for something. These emotions. I feel fear in Edward. Inexplicable fear. I need to feel through his perspective of pain and the pain of others to push myself to ascend. Edward was a young catfolk kitten living in a small hut built high against thick trees. Bamboo and rope bridges led to other huts. Edward was throwing a ball for Rapscallion Devil to fetch in his mouth. Many catfolks were celebrating with drinks, music, and dance. Edward was purring and laughing at Rapscallion Devil's antics while running on all fours. Cut the music. A group of giants are coming from the north and east. A ginger catfolk struggled to turn off the jukebox. Edward's mother pressed him against her chest, not understanding the sudden confusion as catfolk prepared their weapons. Edward was picked up in his mother's mouth as Rapscallion Devil followed behind, descending from the trees in a basket carriage. Edward peered out, witnessing huge, monstrous horned beasts and large hairless wolf quadrupeds invading. Edward cried at the sight of savage barbarians slaughtering catfolk. Screaming out, he said, "Mother, I'm scared." One quadruped heard Edward's cry. On the warpath, they were not allowing any catfolk to escape. Edward's mother jumped out of the basket, carrying Edward in her mouth. She started running away as the quadruped gained quickly. Rapscallion Devil announced while running, "You need to take a kayak and travel southwest until you reach 9 Mile Sapphire Beach." "I must stay and fight," Edward's mother cried. Edward's mother placed him carefully into the kayak, beneath the seat. Grabbing Rapscallion Devil by his tail, she threw him into the kayak without warning. Kicking the kayak out to sea, Edward's mother blew her son a kiss. "This is the only way to survive. Please protect my only son and all children who need protection," his mother cried. Edward screamed, peering out of the kayak and seeing his mother pull a sharp knife from her ankle belt. "Remember, Edward, true love is rare. True love conquers all, even if we die fighting for it. True love conquers all, as you are friendly to those of all walks of life." Running and then pouncing into the air, she cut horizontally between the quadruped's eyes. Rapscallion Devil paddled hard, moving farther away from the war zone. "I can't stand senseless murder. Edward is the last of the catfolk." Trinity clenched her fists, growling through her teeth. "Your race faces extinction once you die. I can feel my power taking over. I must be stronger than all mystics. I must be confident like Jane Turner. I must rise to take my place as queen. I must be more unforgiving than Dark Sparrow. Trinity began thinking about her childhood living inside the waterfall's cave. She remembered bandits holding knives to her parents' necks. Come on, child, hit me. I said hit me, you know you want to. You're too helpless to fight back. Younger Trinity begged, let go of my parents. The laughter of 8 samurai bandits echoed throughout the cave. Speaking in tongues, Trinity gazed. Look, she can't even speak English, one of them said, laughing louder at Trinity. Frogs, 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 younger Trinity mocked. Younger Trinity laughed as they fell, coughing and spewing up half-inch frogs and tadpoles. Trinity's parents attempted to disarm the bandits and take the knives held against their throats, but unfortunately the knives slit their throats. Standing in shock, Trinity, breathing heavily, was unable to move. Scientist approached. Using psionic power fission, he became 2 scientists. For hands and 2 scientists reached forward. Mass mind control. Once the attackers had fallen under scientist's control, he communicated telepathically, saying, Seppuku wannabe samurai. Keep watching, princess. The war ahead requires that we fight on the battlefield. Picking up their swords, the 8 samurai, kneeling, struggled to not be controlled. But they lost the fight. All 8 men cut through their own intestines. Younger Trinity fainted. Many previously suppressed childhood memories and other people's experiences flashed before Trinity. My skin is flashing purple. I must ascend. Trinity's hairband burned, releasing her orange hair wildly as her skin glowed purple from head to toe. Screaming loudly, Trinity ascended into a super mystic. I have ascended. I will make them all call me Super Mystic Trinity as they beg for their lives. I didn't need to merge with Arlo to pull off this transformation. Well done, Super Mystic Trinity. Hawken smiled. Trinity pointed toward the wall and opened her palm. Ultra beam, she said, melting a huge hole through the steel wall. Stepping through with Hawken by her side, Super Mystic Trinity placed both hands against the Topaz Mana Tower, forming a connectional bond. In this body I can feel the entire network of psionic energy throughout this place, Trinity explained confidently. Hawken, hold my hand so I can connect your thoughts. Connecting through the Topaz Mana Tower, Hawken could also detect the fight with Jane and Edward. Trinity explained, do not attack Jane Turner, the midget devil, or Edward the catfolk. But as for everything else, do as you please, grandfather. Meanwhile, Edward was busy fighting the plebedactyr, avoiding the whip of the beast's tail and its high knee kicks toward his chest and head. Edward fought defensively, unsure of how to strike back. Jane fought against Nigel, using her war fan to deflect bullets. She was unable to hit the enemy, who was using cover to keep shooting. Rapscallion Devil's greasy pointy fingers lubricated, disassembling Sly Fox's firearms. Taking a deep bite, Rapscallion Devil chewed on Sly Fox's pointy ears, refusing to let go. Trinity transported herself and Grandfather Hawken through the Mana network to the upper balcony, where the fight was going on. One warning, Nigel. Unsummon your beasts, and prepare to go back to Rubervale prison again, Trinity ordered firmly. Nigel fired shots as Super Mystic Trinity used her powers to catch 6 bullets in a mystical sphere. Pressing it into a solid ball, Trinity served the mystical sphere overhead. It exploded shrapnel into Nigel's chest. Just then Trinity realized that he also had a cybernetic core where his heart should be in half a metallic brain. Served, arsehole. Super Mystic Trinity stated a pun, clicking her fingers while moving her hand in a circular motion, acting like Jane Turner. Grandfather Hawken joined the fight, charging the plebedactyr and slamming it against a wall. The plebedactyr opened a purple portal that gyrated clockwise. Jumping through it, the creature returned to its plane of origin. Super Mystic Trinity approached Nigel and Sly Fox as they lay flat on the ground. Sly Fox begged, "I will be your henchman if you spare my life. You have earned my respect 1,000-fold." Trinity stepped on Sly Fox's fingers, shattering the bones. "I gave one warning. You showed me disrespect, and now you beg like a neutered little fox." Leaning down, she'd whispered this into his ear. Jane commented, "Trinity, what has happened to you?" Gazing darkly into Jane's eyes, she replied, "We have a lot to talk about after I have fun with these two." Sly Fox and Nigel spewed out leeches, whimpering. "We will tell you anything. Just make it stop," Nigel begged as Sly Fox died, having been torn from the inside out by freaky leeches. "You didn't stop when you hurt your child victims. The only cure for a pedophile is the death penalty." Super Mystic Trinity laughed maniacally. "Dr. Alexander Saldek is using his telepathy from the control room to work out all your connections to Marcus Johnson. Cameron made me his sorcery apprentice so that I can get revenge against Marcus for killing my father," Nigel said, continuing to beg. Super Mystic Trinity's power enhanced an entanglement, trapping Nigel in purple vines. Jane grabbed Trinity's hand. "What has happened to you? This is not the Trinity I know. She would not kill." Vines squeezed Nigel tighter, constricting him, as Trinity changed back into herself. "I am sorry. This newfound transformation is overwhelming and very satisfying." Turning to Hawken, Trinity said, "Grandfather Hawken, begin draining Nigel's mana, but not to the point of exhaustion. Then take him back to Amethyst University Court, pending trial." Jane shook her head, blinking vigorously and grimacing. "Grandfather Hawken. How? You have been dead for years." "Sleep." Jane fell forward into Trinity's arms as Nigel slept tangled in vines. The freaky leeches also fell asleep. Laying her friend down, Trinity focused her psionic powers, sending Jane on a visual journey. "Jane Turner, I need you to remember back to when you first met Marcus. Pass on all information to Dark Sparrow and Troy Marino. You can trust Dark Sparrow as a proper authority of Earth. For now, this what I have seen. Later, your dream will help you remember your past. Think back to how you first met Marcus Johnson." "Who is Marcus Johnson?" "Grandfather Hawken and Edward, take Jane, Nigel, and all the children to Desmond in the Land of Peace. That is the safest place to take refuge. Jane needs rest before she travels back to Earth. Then you both need to take Nigel to Queen Vedic to face trial again." Dipping a quill into Nigel's blood, she conjured a map and cast a magical inscription. Grandfather Hawken began to heal Nigel's brain injury. "I can cast sorcery without verbal components when I ascend." Trinity ascended into Super Mystic Trinity. "Take the map, Edward. Find the exit. I must go now so you can all escape." Using psionic flight, Trinity made her way to the control room. Casting an ultrabeam, Super Mystic Trinity melted an entire wall to gain access into the control room. Dr. Alexander Saldek and Trevor Banks stood, ready to fight. "Ready for another family reunion." Trevor laughed. "I see you only have your right arms, right? Scientist, is it? My people have welcomed you willingly, and you are planning something sick against Hope's father. Say it, kid." Marcus is Hope's long-lost daddy who locked himself inside Gwenvale Asylum by choice after having committed a murder. Nigel thinks he is getting revenge for Zonal's death. But he is just a foolish gunslinger whom we use as a sacrificial pawn. Super Mystic Trinity sent out several electrical shock waves, causing all technology to malfunction and electrocuting Scientist and Trevor. Soaring towards Scientist, she punched into his body repeatedly, realizing his bones were made of a tough metal alloy. Trevor, using his knife hand, struck Super Mystic Trinity on the back of her skull. Trembling uncontrollably, Trinity ascended, but in mid-path her ascension dangerously exploded in a colossal shock wave, tearing apart walls, the floor, and the ceiling above. The labyrinth blacked out while the room began filling with dense smoke. Trinity fell unconscious in complete darkness. This would have ended terribly for me. Luckily, my other half remained a safe distance apart. Fission is very handy in that I can use it to manipulate our guests in 2 places at once. Scientist lit the room with blue holographic lanterns, realizing his other half was mere charcoal. Cut my power in half literally. That explosion nearly ruined my plans for tonight. Trinity gasped, barely able to speak. You will not succeed. Others have a stronger will to rise, now that you are weak. I just wish I'd worked out your weakness sooner. Scientist picked Trinity up by her hair. You think you know my secret? I even tricked your barrister into finding religious followers. It is so easy now to travel anywhere through the known universe, including Earth, where the universe's strongest beasts are. Saves a 1,000-year voyage. Now inform me of everything you know about Marcus Johnson before we go to Gwenvale Asylum. A red portal opened, gyrating counterclockwise, as 6 ruby cult-like mystics approached. The war is about to begin. Prepare the ritual to begin at 10 p.m. at all locations. I need 6 of the best to take me to planet Siona, strictly for the purpose of opening a red portal from the Central Highlands. Oh, when Trevor wakes up, send him to Emerald. Then once he and whoever reaches Earth, immediately summon Blaze, the Fire Elemental Elder. That is a direct order from Cameron, Scientist ordered.